Hello and welcome to the weather update. It's about 9:45 on September the 5th, 2023. Another hot one today, and you can see we had some high clouds around today, but still decent amount of sunshine and enough sunshine to get us into the 90s. And you can also see maybe a little bit of smoke there over Maine if we pause that up. Pause that right there. You can see some smoke over here in Maine, but we're not seeing much smoke here. Maybe a little bit, but generally a hot day today with some, again, a lot of the high clouds around. You can see it looking at these. This is the high resolution satellite here, and you can see again. Look at this huge storm over here south of Nova Scotia. There's the smoke that's drifted out over Maine. Again, big ridge over us, and you can see here's some smoke that's coming out of Western Canada that's making its way into looks like Wyoming, yeah. So we got the smoke there, and then the rest of the country, not a whole lot going on except some severe weather over here. So let's go look at the weather map, and you'll see here we are under the influence of high pressure. Though they have like two little low pressure troughs here, and those troughs, when they move through, they're going to shift the winds more to a west. We had a little more of a sea breeze today. Well, that's going to be gone tomorrow, and you can see in the middle of the country we have some very slow moving cold fronts going on. So let's look at what our day was like today, and first I'll start with what the skies were like. Obviously, we had a mix of cirrus and cumulus. You could see here, so cirrus and cumulus in there. You could see that right there, and mix of cirrus and cumulus in the sky today. Another look at it a little more toward the evening, and I decided to see if there was a sea breeze at Jones Beach, and there was. It was very weak. I have a very short video for you of what it was like there. It was actually beautiful there, though, nonetheless. This is the sun going down. You can see it's pretty reddish, too, so maybe there's still a little bit of smoke around. It's the ocean here looking beautiful, and our amazing sunset that we had. Look at that. Look at those clouds. So we did have a very nice sunset. I had a feeling we might because of those cirrus clouds, and I was right. So let's take a look and see what we got going on across the area. Look at our current conditions right now. And you can see we do have some severe weather in the Midwest, heat advisories in Texas, and heat advisories in our area. So now the heat advisory has been extended into Suffolk County, and this is going to go through, it says through tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So it's going to go through tomorrow. You can see Nassau, Western Suffolk, the city, also parts of New Jersey. However, Ocean County, for some reason, is left out of that. I don't know why. They probably should be included in that. You can see most of the areas, and then some of the coastal areas of Connecticut and the East End don't have to deal with it. But that's because it's going to get hot and it's going to be humid. So let's put the current conditions on here right now, and you'll see 81 right now in Farmingdale. Dew point is 72. So yeah, it's hot. It's muggy. Islip is 77 with the dew point is 73. So yeah, it's humid. And you can see we've got temperatures, look at that, still 88 in Newark, and that's similar to what I have in the alley right now. So if we look at the alley right now, you can see we're at about 86 degrees in the alley. So yeah, just holding on to the heat. Said I live in an urban hellhole, and this is why I've got to get out of here. It's just too hot. I'm going to die here if I have to spend another summer. 85 in Central Park, so similar to Central Park. And summers are getting longer, I mean, this week is proof that we really, I think, need to move Labor Day at least to maybe mid-September, or even late September, because the summers are getting longer, and we have to adjust to that and change the way things are laid out, in my opinion. And most people would like that summer is longer, or not me. I don't like the heat, but it's gonna last longer. And so if you do like the summer, this is the week for you. So yeah, 76. It's even cooler in Toms River than it is in my alley right now. 76 degrees right there in Toms River. So let's take a look at what the day was like at Islip. And there was a sea breeze, but it was really, really weak. And Islip still managed to get above 90 degrees. And you can see there was northerly winds, and the sea breeze didn't really start until 6 o'clock. And that's when the sea breeze arrived over there. But we never got a sea breeze here at all in Mineola. No sea breeze at all here in Mineola. So we're just, let's see if I can find Farmingdale here. So 81 at Farmingdale, dew point 72. And let's see, Farmingdale also got up to 90. Let's see if they ever got us. Looks like they might have gotten a sea breeze at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, that's what we're not showing. We never got a sea breeze at all. But if you're right along the south shore, let's see. Let's go to, yeah, we can look at Blue Point, for instance. Actually, well, let's see, that one's not working. So we have Blue Point on here, Bay Shore. Sayville. Yeah, we have Blue Point. We're at 77. Still warm, but let's see. I bet it didn't get up to 90 there. Well, I guess I was wrong. I'm eating my words. It got in the low 90s there, too, as well. So, yeah, even right on the bay, I guess, not much of a sea breeze. So, you got to be right on the beach, really, to get a sea breeze. See, Gilgo Beach, 78. Now, they probably only got into the 80s today. Let's see. Yeah, only the 80s. So, that's where you had to be, right on the water. So, let's put the highs on the map. And we'll show you what it's like, what our highs were today, and put them on the map. And waiting for them to load, of course, is always a pain. There we go. So, yep, pretty much low 90s across all Long Island. Oddly enough, the North Shore may have been a few degrees cooler. Same thing for the East End, mid-80s there, right on the water, mid-80s. But it was low 90s, 95 at Newark. Not surprised, that's the hot spot. And also, Toms River also got up to 95 as well. So still a little bit hotter in Toms River during the day than it was here. But at night, it's a little cooler. So let's put the lows. The lows aren't going to be anything remarkable here. Yeah, only low to mid 70s, even upper 70s in the city. I don't think it went below 80 in my alley. Got down to 66 at West Hampton. So, and again, this heat is covering the whole country. So again, if we look at the Ventus sky, which I'm going to switch to right now, and just show you the heat here, and I'm going to move this back so you get an idea of how big this ridge is. We can still see it right here. It's stretching all the way into eastern Canada, which is not good. This could help. This could aid in the rekindling of wildfires up there. But you can see how far the heat. This is 2 o'clock, and you can see how far the heat goes. 90 even into Hudson Bay, which is again ridiculous. You can see there's a trough in the west. That's where they're getting cooler air, and that's helping them. But you see there's huge ridge here. There we have. And again, if we look at the dew points here, it'll show you, again, look at those high dew points. It's humid also. Look at that, 70-degree dew points all the way up into Hudson Bay, which is absolutely insane. Again, so let's go talk about the tropics next. And we do have Tropical Storm Lee that has just formed, and this is the one that we're going to have to watch because this is the one that's heading toward. It could threaten the East Coast. It's too soon right now, but you'll see in some of the models. This is a storm we're going to have to be concerned about. And it could be a major hurricane by this weekend and bring impacts to the Leeward Islands at this time. So Tropical Storm Lee expected to rapidly intensify into an extremely dangerous hurricane by the weekend. And some of the models are indicating this could even be a Category 5. So as of 5 p.m., location is 13.2 north, 41.8 west, about 1,315 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. Maximum staying winds of 45 miles an hour. Moving west-northwest at 16 miles an hour. Minimum social pressure 1005 millibars. 29.68 inches. And if we look at our chart here, this is why we are concerned. You can see it's heading toward west, toward the United States. And we're gonna have to watch this very closely because again, some of the models are indicating that this could threaten us. So let's go to tropical tidbits next, and you'll see here what I mean. So let's go to current storms. And guess we are going to look at Lee's on the satellite right now. In fact, I want to look at it on here too as well. Well, Lee is over here already, so you can sort of look at it. And here you go. This storm is rapidly intensifying. I think it's going to be a hurricane by tomorrow at the rate it's going. So let's look at the loop on here. Again, you can see, look at that. Really good convection. It's got very favorable conditions to intensify. And this is the concern when we look at the spaghetti models. They all take it west. And we're going to go into the super long range here. And a lot of them do recurve it. They do recurve it, but some of them kind of take it back west again. And again, this is way, way too early to tell what's going to happen. But here's the scary guidance. A lot of them, at least Cat 4, and I think this one's going to be a Cat 5. This storm is going to be a monster. Lee is going to be a monster. And so I'm very concerned about that. And we're going to go into the upper air patterns, and we're going to talk about why I'm concerned about it. So let's go to the North American view right now and look at our jet stream, which, again, has decided to be a completely dysfunctional jet stream. And you'll see there's a big ridge in the east. The jet stream's way up into Canada. It's actually bringing a lot of warmth into Greenland, I think, as well. And that warm jet stream, that big ridge configuration continues. And throughout this week, you see there's a little like weird trough in the west there. We're looking at the GFS. This is Lee right here. All right, so you see what's going on here. We have a big ridge, and then what happens as we get toward the weekend, we're going to have some stall front syndrome. So here's the deal, is that the jet stream is off over here instead of being offshore, and this is not going to. Is this going to sweep Lee out in time? This is the problem. It does come close because it could get attracted because you see how the trough is tilting. It could pull Lee in. We've got a high here, and it could threaten the northeast. I'm concerned about. I'm not saying it's time to panic yet, but just pay attention to what's going on. All right. If this does head straight for us, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here for it. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I can't stay in this place for sure. But this is Lee right here, and like I said, I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But you can see the problem, the damn jet stream. All right. It could pick Lee up, and it might fling it into Nova Scotia. All right, so it may fling it into Nova Scotia. This particular run, it doesn't hit us. All right, it comes close, and we all saw can't believe I forgot his name already. Franklin did with our beach as well. Look, this is going to come closer, and it's going to be even a bigger storm. So this is going to be even crazier, I think, even if it doesn't hit us directly. But it's definitely concerned with that jet stream pattern, all right, that we have. And we continue to not have a trough in the east and continue to have just a very wavy, messed up, ill-defined jet stream, which is not good, especially if you want to sweep tropical systems out to sea. This is not a good jet stream to have. Let's look at the European model. And we'll go to the 12Z run because we get a little more with that. So here's the European model, also showing the jet stream being pretty much a complete mess. And here's Lee here. And you can see this is as far as we've got, but you can see a similar deal here. All right. Now, fortunately, I don't see a huge ridge up here that would kind of force it into the coast, but I'm concerned that it's going to come close. Again, because it's just too early right now. We are way out. We are way out. But again, we're going to have, I think, a little bit of a better idea by the weekend, and a much better idea by the beginning of next week as to where this is going to go. But right now, it's just too early to tell. But it's going to be a very intense storm. So, and you'll see when we look at the GFS. So let's go look at the upper air on the GFS. Shift this over to the 500 here, so you get an idea of, again, the pattern we're in. So you see that big ridge that we have, and then here we go again with a weird setup here in the jet stream. There is Lee right there, and here's the concern, is that you have a trough here. Actually, you do see a little bit of a ridge there, and that could block it from moving out and kind of steer it toward the coast. And you can see how this trough kind of picks it up and then flings it into Nova Scotia. Now, if this trough is a little more over here, that could fling it into us, very much like what happened with Sandy. So we're very concerned. I'm concerned about it, obviously. And then look, there's another system that is going to form. So we're not out of the. This is going to be a very active season, and I'm very concerned about an impact along the East Coast for storms, especially given the jet stream pattern. Unless we can get this jet stream to have a trough in the east and have it offshore, so anything gets swept out. It looks like it's a little better toward the end. I see a little more of a trough there on the end. So let's look at the European. And again, we'll do the 12s of European. So again, you see that ridge there. All right. And then here comes Lee, and this is the concern. Look at the Euro. It's much stronger with that ridge. The Euro has a completely different look, and this is a much worse look for us. And that's the concern, is that it could steer it right in to the East Coast, and that's the concern we have right now. Of course, this is way, way in advance, so we're going to have to keep an eye on it. But I'm very concerned about it, and you should too. And obviously, I'm just saying, not saying it's going to hit us, but it's not. Let's just say it this way: the conditions are favorable for it to hit us. So it doesn't mean it's going to, but the conditions are favorable. So let's pull a little closer to the surface now, and look at the surface map on the GFS. All right, so you see what's going to happen. So as we get we'll have more heat, and then as we get toward the end of the week, into the weekend, stall front syndrome again. It's going to be sucky with rain chances and humidity, and that stall front is the problem. All right, so as we go into Tuesday, you see the front doesn't move through and sweep Lee out to sea. Instead, it gets stuck, and this is the problem. And right now, the GFS has the front coming in and kicking Lee out. Look at what a powerful storm that is. And it would hit Nova Scotia and be a major disaster for Nova Scotia on this particular track here. And Nova Scotia, I believe, was it last year or the year before with a hurricane, and it could happen again with this particular setup right here. All right, that's and even with it coming that close, it's going to have effects. I mean, that is a very powerful storm, and I want to just go into the northeast view so you just have an idea of how powerful this thing is and how powerful the winds are going to be with it. Let's go to the wind here, so you get an idea of how powerful this thing is. So imagine if this thing heads right for us, what's going to happen. So right now it has it heading to Nova Scotia. All right, it's way out. We're talking 10 days out. All right, but 10 days is something we're going to have to watch. All right, so that's what the GFS shows at the surface, and I'm going to change this back to this, and now we're going to look at the European, which again is even scarier in my opinion. All right, so this is the European right here, and you'll see again stall front syndrome, rain chances. Not that it's going to be raining all the time, but it's going to be sucky. And then here comes, look at how it makes that turn right there because of the freaking ridge here. So this is the concern that we have right here. All right, and I'm not liking the way this euro looks at all whatsoever. All right, I'm telling you that right now, it's not good. It's not good. So I'm very worried about this. So anyway, as if I don't have enough headaches going on in my life, now I'm going to have to run from a hurricane. No, I'm not going to stay here to film it. If that thing hits us head on, I'm getting out of here. I don't have the money. I'll find the money. I might have to ask you for money so I can go away. Let's travel somewhere away from it, all right? But we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, all right? And, I hate having to ask for help, but I can't stay here and deal with that, all right? But anyway, let's go look at, we're worrying about that. See, I'm already panicking. Don't panic. That euro scares me, though, all right? Let's look at our temperature anomaly chart on the GFS, and you'll see, look at that huge ridge we have, and you'll see here, huge ridge there that we have in the east that we have. And you can see stall front syndrome. You can see, and then we have above normal temperatures in much of the west into the east, and there you can see the reflection there. It does bring in some below normal temperatures. The GFS does, because it's bringing in some cooler air that's coming in. But if we look at the European model, so there's a difference between the European and the GFS, and the European doesn't really bring that cool air in. You can see it's much slower with the front and actually could block Lee from going out to sea. So that's why the euro is concerned, and I hope the euro was wrong. So now that you've seen everything in the longer range, let's talk about the shorter range on the HRRR model. So let's look at the HRRR, and you'll see tomorrow. No precipitation chances. Can you have that low that's over there? But you'll see that because of that low, it's going to pull winds down from the north a little more, which means no sea breeze. Into Thursday, you can see that there is some shower and thunderstorm activity that pops up to our west. And again, that's something we're going to have to deal with as we head more toward the weekend. And so let's go look at the dew points here. First of all, obviously stay high, but you look at the winds. West-northwest winds tomorrow. The HRRR seems to want to show a sea breeze. It's going to be very weak, whatever we get. It's going to stay humid. And maybe there may be some mixing in the afternoon that gets dew points down to the upper 60s, but other than that, it's going to stay humid. And here we go. West winds to start, but a little more of a southerly flow on Thursday, which maybe will bring more of a sea breeze. And you see that nice, cool, dry air. We're not going to get into that at all, because that front's going to stall out. Again, stall front syndrome, which is the death of us. Like I said, it's the death of us, especially if there's a tropical system. You can't have stall front syndrome. So, again, looking at the HRRR, see we're all going to get in the 90s again tomorrow. And then for Thursday, look at that. It's actually showing 90s again for Thursday for all of us, and maybe a little more of a sea breeze in the afternoon. So before I go any further, let me go to the climate statistics for today. So you'll see that. So here we go. Record high at Islip of 91 degrees. was set today. The normal high is supposed to be 78. That's 13 degrees above normal. 72 was the low. That's 9 degrees above normal. Full 12 degrees above normal for the day. Central Park got up to 92. That's 12 degrees above normal. 11 degrees for the day. JFK, 93 at JFK. Wow. That's JFK, 93. So it goes to show you no sea breeze. 14 degrees above normal for the high. 74 the low. So 12 degrees above normal there. So here you go. Just goes to show you the heat that we are dealing with today. Let's see what Newark got up to. Record at Newark of 95. That's 14 degrees above normal. They were completely 14 degrees above normal for the day. So could this be the hottest September on record? If this keeps up, it will be. And I think we're going to be above normal for the month. I really do. As far as temperatures go. Let's see what LaGuardia did. Did they get a record? No, 90 there. It's actually cooler there because sometimes LaGuardia can be cooler when there's no sea breeze. The wind's off the sound. So anyway, let's get back to the models here. So get back into this and look at the GFS as we go a little further along here, and we'll look at the dew points, and you'll see what I mean with the stalled front that's going to come through. So you see southerly winds. You can see. Here's the front, drier air off to the west, but we never get into that. The front just hangs up, stall front, and we're stuck in the humidity. Again, to the north and west, they'll be in the drier air, but we're going to be stuck in the humidity, and here we go. Sunday, still dealing with the southerly flow, and same thing Monday, Tuesday. Here comes that front for Wednesdays, and that would help push that storm, and then it would have some beautiful weather behind that, all right? According to the GFS. I hope the GFS is right. Unfortunately, it's bad for Nova Scotia, but I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. Can't. So here we go. For Friday, still hot in Jersey, but the southerly flow, though, I think will of Long Island will avoid 90. But yeah, the worst heat wave of the season in September, believe it or not. And then we're still staying above normal here. Temperature's still in the 80s here. And even though we'll have that rain chance, there'll be some sun around too. And here we are, still dealing with the heat, and then we finally cool off behind Lee, if Lee does wind up taking the track that it takes, according to the GFS. And I hope the GFS is right. All right, I really do, but right now it's really hard to tell. So let's take a look talk about the sucky weather we're going to have for the weekend. We'll go to the 18Z. NAM, so we could get a little more of a higher resolution model. It'll just take us to a little bit of the weekend here. So you'll see rain chances, but again, it's not going to be constant. Just going to be rain chances. The front itself actually may wind up being stalled off to the west, and we'll have a better idea of that, I think, at least for Thursday night. So let's go back to GFS, look at the skies, obviously, and so for tomorrow, I think we'll see a decent amount of sunshine, maybe a little bit of haze. I don't know. It's hard to really get a blue sky in this kind of hot air mass, but you never know. Clouds from that storm, just to our east of us. And then for Thursday, probably sunshine as well, though. Again, clouds off to the west. And then after that, we're going to be having some clouds around, though. Like I said, it won't be cloudy all the time. You see what the kind of crap pattern we're going to be in after that. So let's go to the RGM. We'll get that one for skies as well. So here we go, and you see not much in the way of clouds at all. Thursday, maybe a few more high clouds. But other than that, once we get to Friday, that's when we're going to start dealing with more in the way of clouds. But it's just partly sunny conditions. It's not like it's going to be cloudy all the time. So that's the thing. So let's go over to what was I going to look at here next? The Climate Prediction Center. Oh, the smoke model. We'll get the smoke model out of the way, then we'll do that. All right, so vertically integrated smoke. And it's just showing you, I don't think the smoke's going to be that much of an issue. There is some that's diving down to the Midwest. And you can see some that's wrapped around that system there. And then you can see that area there is going down to the Midwest and going actually to the south. So we may not see much in the way of smoke, maybe a little bit of it, but nothing that's too much. We'll just run the near surface smoke just for the heck of it. And yeah, there is definitely near surface smoke if you're North Dakota, South Dakota, maybe into Kansas, maybe make its way even down into Oklahoma. But for us, it does not look like we're going to be dealing with any smoke. And radar, again, nothing going on in the east. All your storms are up here. Not really a whole lot going on with storms. It's pretty quiet. Let's go to the Climate Prediction Center. 6 to 10 day outlook. They actually have below normal temperatures coming back into the east. So that's kind of good because that would help maybe push Lee away if we do have below normal temperatures in the east. 8 to 14 day also showing a below normal and slightly above on the precipitation. So the CPC, whatever thinks, is that there's going to be more of a trough in that particular shape, and that would help push Lee out if it threatens us. God, I hope it does because I do not want to deal with it. Not here. But we're a ways off, and I'm telling you not to panic, and I'm telling you not to worry. Here I am. I'm trying. I don't want people to panic. All right, it's ways off. But I'm just concerned about the pattern. That's all. But this is a little encouraging because this is showing that cooler air would make it into the east, and that would have a tendency to displace Lee, which would threaten us in that 6 to 10 day time frame, and even in the 8 to 14 day. So we'll have to see. Hopefully, obviously, I think they're buying the GFS more than the Europeans. So let's hope that they're right with that. Actually, one more thing I want to look at here, and that is the ice situation here, because I'm concerned about melting in Greenland and all that other stuff. So let's see. Late summer heat wave avoids central Arctic. So while the first half of August saw a rapid pace of Arctic sea ice loss, the pace slowed during the latter half of the month as mostly cooler conditions set in Antarctic sea ice extent. They're saying Antarctic, though, so I don't know what to talk about. But this is the chart right here. So we're still pretty low, as you see there. We're still pretty low. And, yeah, this is some pretty thin ice over here. And there's only some thick ice over here, so still concerned about this. And we can still actually go to the Greenland. I think they have an update, like Greenland. Let's see if they have anything on Greenland here. Late season melt spike. Well, that's not good. So a strong weather pattern from August 21st to 24th caused widespread melting across Greenland. This unusually late summer melt event was caused by a high and low air pressure configuration known as an omega pattern because of the jet stream shape. The 2023 cumulative melt area is currently the second largest in the 45-year-old satellite record, trailing the extreme melt year of 2012. So this is the worst melt season in Greenland. And yeah, here's the chart right here. So this is not good at all. We're losing a lot of ice in Greenland, and that is definitely going to help raise the sea levels, disrupt ocean currents, and cause more climate chaos. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night.